out today to fish with Frank Keller. Our target today are the shallow waters of Walpole Island, also known as the First Nation territory. You do need an extra license for that. It's in the Canada zone, but it also takes a Walpole territory license as well. So today we got a 1 day for Frank. I usually get the annual myself. What's intriguing about the areas we're going to go to today is we haven't seen them. We've never fished these. Certainly haven't fished them together, but really haven't fished these areas with any solid consistency. Today it's a cold morning. Feels more like September 15th or maybe even later in the month. It's pretty chilly out this morning. And on top of that, we got a pretty brisk wind coming in from the east. It is not supposed to be quite this brisk. And also, they're talking about showers later on in the day, which they weren't talking about showers either. So we'll deal with what we've got to deal with. I'm looking forward to asking Frank some questions because he fishes a lot of shallow water. I consider him a shallow water specialist. And I have some really curious thoughts and questions for him about how wind and water temperature is going to play in to the success that we're going to have today. All right, well, I'll be seeing him here shortly here up at the Algonac launch. Okay, as advertised, I got Frank here. We're up at the Algonac DNR launch up here on the North Channel. And we're about to put in a nice Labor Day for 2017. I've been looking forward to this trip, Frank.
Absolutely, yes, me too. It's been a couple of years since we've done our fall thing.
Yeah, actually, if they go back, it's probably still on YouTube and everything with our other trip. Yeah, very good. Good memory. So really, right here out at the launch, there's up to 80 feet of water.
Yes.
And I mean, it gets deep quick, but there's a lot of bass right in this area. But that's not where we're headed today, is it?
No, we want to do some new water today. And when you called me, I was pretty excited about this because I had been looking at this area about a year ago, and I never got there. And when we got into our conversation about it, I was pretty excited and jumped at the chance.
Nice. And what he's talking about is Frank spends a lot of time in the shallow water. I would consider him a shallow water specialist in my estimation because most of his time spent shallow. He loves it, and he really loves exploring the shallow water. And we're going to do some of that today. We're going to go to the Walpole Island territory, and we're going to fish shallow all day long. Frank, what are your basic angles of attack for shallow? What kind of baits are we talking about?
We're going to use spinner baits and some lipless crankbaits have been the main things that have been working. At different times of the day, a buzz bait has been effective as well.
Yeah, we're going to throw a lot of spinner baits, and that's where I'll have a difficult time keeping up with them, but you'll see a lot of spinner baits thrown for sure. I think I'm going to throw a little swim bait action too. See if we can get a little bit going there.
Absolutely, that has been doing well too.
Now, what we didn't expect today is we didn't expect the winds. The winds are something that were not necessarily part of the original forecast. And the other thing is it's cold this morning.
It is definitely chilly.
We made a couple logistical decisions. We decided to launch about an hour later. This time of year, launching at daybreak is really not necessary. The fish are active all day long, so you really don't have to launch at daybreak. But we made a couple logistical decisions. We decided to launch a little bit later, not much, just 8 o'clock is when we're trying to get out of here. But also we chose the Algonac launch for a reason.
Right, it's going to save us a lot of run time, and we're all protected where we're going to go. It's going to give us a good angle to get there and then stay in protected water all day.
And as it turns out, we didn't know we need the protection as bad as we did. We were really planning on Labor Day boat traffic protection is what we were looking at. So if we launched, let's say, over at Harley Ensign, we would have had to cross everything to get over to the Walpole territory out in the lake. And even with the winds right now, that would have been tough. With the boat traffic, even worse. So the river's going to give us that protection.
Yes.
So let me ask you one thing, Frank. One thing I didn't expect either was we're on one of the coldest mornings we've had all summer.
Yeah, it's going to make things a little interesting, but we've got some sun, and that may make a big difference for us. That may help. It may change what we do a little bit, current has really played a big role in everything that's been happening so far, but now we may actually need more of the dark spots, and the sun today may actually turn out to be more important than the current. So we'll see how that develops. It may or may not play that out, but we're anticipating that's a possibility.
What's not to like about dark spots?
Absolutely.
So the St. Clair River temperature will be different than the lake temperature. Actually, with the lake being as shallow as it is and where we're going to fish being as shallow as it is, would have cooled off a lot last night. But I think current is going to play a lot into that. We'll be watching the temperature today, and we'll give you some updates on that. So, Frank, before we get going, I just want to say we got between here and where we're going to go fishing. We're going to start at Algonac, and we're going to head out probably down the Bassett, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Probably take the Bassett down into some of the shallow water where we want to go. I've got at least 40 spots, at minimum 40 spots that have got smallmouth on it this time of year, all varying different depths and everything. I mean, they got fish, man. This is the time of year to be fishing them. How about we stop at some of those spots on the way down?
Absolutely not. Today is all new water.
It's new water and it's shallow fishing day on Labor Day in 2017. Looking forward to it, Frank.
Yes, me too. Thank you.
All right. Little bulrush pattern. These bulrushes are out in the middle of nowhere, absolutely nowhere. And so far, this is our best fish yet. Hopefully, I get this one in. It's not a monster. It's a good one. There we go. Nice. Okay. So it's our first smallmouth today. I got it on chartreuse spinnerbait. And working behind Frank with this pattern. This was barely 3 pounds. Could make it, but still, pretty fish. Came right where I wanted it.
Sweet, sweet.
Signs of life. Well, you called it.
Just a big work.
You called it. Alright, just throwing Froggy out there, see what will happen. Swallowed it pretty good.
Yeah, he did.
Well, another decent largemouth out of here. This one's with the Froggy tube. Been getting smallmouth, walleye, and now some largemouth on Froggy. That is a massive fish. And I don't want him to take my last chartreuse spinner.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh, look at him go. He's not getting tired yet. Alright, well, starting to get into a few big ones. Why can't we hook the smallies and lose the bite instead of the other way around?
I'm not sure why that is today.
Oh my gosh, look at this guy. He's huge. Thanks for taking me fishing, Frank.
You're most welcome. That's a decent one. Not a 4, but it's a decent one. Let me get my salmon net out.
Mm-hmm. Really real white belly on this one.
Yep. That's a decent one. The coast 3.
Yeah, a lot like a river fish.
Red dirt.
Yeah, red dirt spinnerbaits.
2.5.
Yep.
Back completely on the floor. After I popped it out of the thing.
See a good look at it there, Frank. It's a nice one. All right. Yeah, we were talking about him earlier.
Yeah, when you were out here. You knew you were out here, buddy.
All in all, we did pretty well. We caught a lot of fish in uncharted water. Yes, we did catch a lot more largemouth than smallmouth, but that's normal when the temperatures drop as fast as they did. Now, we did find a school of bigger smallmouth closer to the channel right on the edge where the water temperature was 67 degrees, which is 2 degrees warmer than it was in the bays. We know these fish were 4.5 pounds because the first one I hooked came flying out of the water. We never did boat a single one of the ones we hooked, though we tried, and at least we did find the school. Later in the day, the rains did show up, and they didn't drive us off the water, but they made things cold, and the wind never did stop blowing. But it was a good day with a great friend, and I look forward to many more.